So Luka sits there in his sweater, and he's asked several questions. I want to show you, if you're watching on Nothing Personal with David Samson YouTube channel, Coca has this ready to go. Two of the questions he answered, and then I want to talk about some other things that he said. Let's start with taking a look and listen to Luka.
That's their decision, so I have no comment on that. They made the decision. I don't know why. But that's their decision, so I can't do nothing about it.
And then one of the reasons that was given was that there was concern that, beyond this summer, or that there's a chance you might not agree to the Supermax extension. Did you or anyone on your inner circle indicate that might be the case?
Absolutely not.
Just remember that this whole trade came together, and we can talk about Nico Harrison, the GM of the Mavericks, because he's still getting attention for this being the worst trade in the history of trades. We can talk about Mark Cuban, his lack of involvement. We can talk about the Adelsons and the Beaumonts and how maybe they want to go to Vegas. No chance, toilet pants. Or we can talk about the max deal that took $100 million out of the pocket of Luka. The question is not, would you or would you not sign it if offered? The question to be asked is, does Dallas want to offer it to him? If you know you're not going to sign a player to a long-term deal, whether they're approaching free agency for the first time or whether they're getting through their first free agent deal and they're trying to get an extension, in Luka's case, it's the latter, and you don't want to do it, you only have two choices. You wait until the contract runs out and you let him go, or two, you move him when there's some value that doesn't look like Jimmy Butler. So the media is focused, laser focused. Who knew what, when? Did J.J. Redick know about the trade? Is that why he was so happy, whistling Dixie out of his tuchus in New York when the Lakers beat the Knicks 128-112 the evening of the trade? There are Lakers players who are acting as though that J.J. Redick knew something was going on. So much for Rob and Nico keeping things tight. Think Jason Kidd feels happy that J.J. Redick was aware and Jason Kidd wasn't? Is it possible Jason Kidd really wasn't? Or are they all going for the March 2nd Oscars? But the real analysis, now that we are a few days out, Luka, what he brings to the Lakers. And there's a bunch of people talking about it, including one of his teammates, Markieff Morris, who said all of these reports on Luka and his conditioning or his injuries. Markieff Morris came out and said, what a great guy, low maintenance. Not relevant. One of the only guys I've been on a team with that'll play through any injury. Not exactly true, given the amount of games Luka misses. But let's not worry about the facts. Let's just keep the narrative going. The narrative is that when you and a teammate are traded together, you band together with that teammate. It's like on Survivor when you're on the same tribe as someone you don't like, and then all the tribes split, and you're with that same person you don't like on the new tribe. All of a sudden, you're like, hey, I know you. I better like you. We better work together. Markieff and Luka could be absolutely blood brothers. But did you think for a minute that he would say, man, Luka, an absolute dog. The guy never plays. I just didn't find that to be compelling. How about this? Luka saying he had no idea about the trade, how surprised he was. People are talking about the $15 million house that he closed on. He didn't close on. Now he's going to move. He's so upset. It's crushing. Luka himself. At some point, I knew this was going to happen, but I always take the high road. I had my amazing moments in Dallas with my teammates, coaches, and most importantly, the fans. They always supported me. It was an amazing journey. You can imagine how surprised I was, he continued. I had to check if it was April 1st. I didn't really believe it. Do we owe it to players to communicate with them? I always preferred it. But let's not judge Nico Harrison based on whether he communicated with Luka prior to the trade. Let's judge Nico Harrison the way I suggested we judged him on Monday's show, which was based on what happens with his team going forward. Whether or not it makes sense to have traded a 25-year-old with a year and a half to go instead of playing it out for another year and a half, letting Irving get a year and a half older and have those two form the basis of a team that had made it to the finals and try to take the next step. I'm happy to judge Nico on that. But all of the people, including my friend Dan, who are saying that this is the number one most incompetent GM, that this is a joke, that it's malpractice, it all may be, but it's not today. Anthony Davis is with the Mavericks. Anthony Davis saw the media and said some interesting things too. I was shocked. I didn't know. Side note, everybody's shocked when they lose their job or when they get traded or when something happens in their life that they didn't control or they didn't plan for or they have no control over. Oi, it was shocking. I had no idea there'd be this much traffic on the 405 at 2 a.m. Shocking. Who knew? Well, you could have looked on the website for construction. You could have communicated with your front office, seen if you could get Rob to say, hey, it's about to be February 6th. Anything brewing? And then Rob could have lied to you, or maybe not. Anthony Davis said that he found out about an hour later after hearing about it that he was no longer with the team. He was in shock, no idea. And then he said, I'm over it. I'm getting ready to play with Dallas. That's my kind of player. When the world gives you lemons, you make lemonade. God, do I think that expression is for the birds. I don't even know what that means. I made chicken salad out of chicken poop. I didn't want to say shit on the air. I got two more things on this that I wanted to talk about, if you don't mind, when it comes to the Mavericks and the Lakers. When you make a trade and you know that your fan base is unhappy with it and you know that you're getting crushed, and I know of what I speak, and you know you're getting crushed publicly, privately, your fans are angry. Page one of what you don't do is in any way implicate yourself that you agree with what anybody is saying. Even if deep down you have a secret, and the secret is, ooh, I have a little trade remorse, or oi, I know why I did it, but maybe I shouldn't have done it. Even if that's what you're thinking, don't tell anyone.